Yes, welcome back. And having had conversation about our debt, now we're moving on to cybercrime and the Nigerian economy. There's a lot to say about that, and this morning we've got a panel to discuss it with us. Some of us might remember that the former president Olusegun Obasanjo, during his tenure, I think it was in 2004, he set up a cybercrime committee that was to look into the issue of cybercrime. And we all know that the famous phrase many years ago was the issue of Yahoo boys. And it was a really popular and very, very derogatory term that a lot of people used to describe every young person who is seen to be using internet in Nigeria. It wasn't true, but a few bad people created this image for young Nigerians. But we're not just talking about that, but we're looking as a whole at how commercial can the internet be? What level of cybercrime do we have in Nigeria? What do we need to do? Because the team that was put together by the president then came up with a draft bill that was sent to the House, but somehow that bill has died, and we don't know what the National Assembly, unfortunately the member of the Honorable House has just left, but we don't know what the National Assembly is doing. So to discuss this issue with us this morning, we have Wande Adalimo, who is a Wi-Fi expert. Wande, welcome to Sunrise this morning. And then on my right-hand side, we've got Junior Pius Ekeh, who's a software engineer.
Thank you very much, sir.
And then we also have Fred Ogbata Jr., who is a digital media consultant.
Thank you.
All right. I'll start with you, Fred, because the first shall come last and the last shall come. Or so it is said. Now, when we look at our economy today, before we even talk about cybercrime, let's look at the opportunities that abound, that we seem to lose out on and we miss out on, but a handful of people are making good. The opportunities that are there for us on the internet, as a nation, are we tapping into it the correct way?
All right, thank you. I would say no, not yet. The opportunities on the internet are so vast. This is what I do on a daily basis, and I can see that it has a huge opportunity. There's a website called the Internet Statistics website. If you visit that website, Nigeria has the 10th largest internet users population, according to the website. There are about 48 million internet users generally on that particular website.
10th is not bad, is it?
No, it's not. That's a very good figure. That's a very good number.
Considering NEPA,
all the challenges.
Internet access, the price we pay to access the internet and all that,
NEPA,
which is still very expensive.
Highly expensive.
If you compare it to the rest of the world.
Yeah, so 10th is a very good figure. So it shows you that there are a lot of potentials. I was speaking to a company, a South African company that came into Nigeria to launch an e-commerce site. And I was asking the young man, I said, with all the negative news about Nigeria, or the negative things you hear, why are you guys coming? What's giving you the confidence? And the guy looked at me with this smile, this look on his face. You guys don't know the opportunity you have. He said the opportunity here is so huge. And he said this is just the beginning. That from his research, he brought out his laptop and he showed me some quality research. I said from his research that Nigeria mobile population is still going to grow higher. If you look at about 48 million, let's take the figure for example, that's still about 30% of the population, thereabout. So it means that the opportunities are there. And part of what I do as a trainer, as a digital media consultant, is that I encourage businesses, because the cost of doing business is on the rise. So what you need to do, you need to look at ways that technology can help you to cut down on the cost. So the opportunities are there. Are we maximizing as a nation? I would say no. For example, the e-commerce boom that we're experiencing now, while we have Nigerians on the internet, on various e-commerce, that own various e-commerce sites, they're not making the most of it. If you go to some sites, we're just discussing while waiting. There's a particular e-commerce site, I won't want to mention the name, but everywhere you see them. These are South Africans, even though they have Nigerians on board, but the truth of the matter is that it's a South African origin. And they are here. Every moment they are doing advertise, they're doing all sorts of adverts, and they're probably maybe not making the money now, because there's a lot of challenges, distribution challenges, payment challenges. There's a lot of challenges. But the innovation they came up with, pay on delivery, that was a good innovation. So don't worry, just shop. We'll bring to your doorstep, then you pay. It has its own risk, but that's what they're doing right now.
Let me ask you then, if what we're hearing every time is that every business depends on numbers. If you have a product and you want to sell it for 1 naira, if you can sell to 1 million people, you're better off selling at 1 naira to 1 million people than looking at 10 naira to just about 20 people. So if you can put it down to that, the numbers that we have in this nation, 48 million internet users, what is it that is stopping us as a nation from actually engaging a lot more? Is this something to do with the people in government not being internet savvy, not being technology savvy? Do we need to get more young people in our National Assembly? What do you think we should be doing?
Thank you very much. I think the first issue we have to border on here is fear. Fear of technology, which of course we can as well refer to as technophobia. The fear of technology has eaten deep into us that we are now scared of using technology as a means for business transactions and all other transactions that we must engage in. We can no longer be comfortable to sit back in our offices, use our ATM cards for transactions, and it goes solo down the line without troubles. The greatest problem here, like I have mentioned earlier, is fear. Secondly, we do not have laws that people can now rely on. Even if these challenges are there, what can I rely on at the end of the day if it doesn't go down smooth? For example, I am performing a transaction for my office, it doesn't scale through, and I am being told by either the switch operator or the bank as it were that I would get reimbursement in another 8 days. What if I'm shopping with the last money I have on me?
So that money goes away for 8 days.
For the next 8 days.
Exactly. Now, take a scenario that you are in the airport at a particular point in time and you have to buy flight tickets. The ATM card on you, you have gone to the ATM machine to dispense money to you, and you need money to buy the ticket for flight. And at the end of the day, you didn't get the money, you got debited. I don't know. You would be cash trapped.
So what do we do? Maybe I should ask one thing. Now, what should we be doing as a people in terms of, because one of the things we said at the beginning of this program is Nigerians don't complain to the appropriate authority often enough. We talk about it, we discuss it at parties, at events, but we really don't go to the appropriate authorities. In terms of the opportunities that abound,
Yes.
what should we be doing to let the right authorities know what they ought to do?
Thank you very much. It's a good thing I'm here this morning. I'm just coming in from the E-Nigeria summit that happened in Abuja at the Congress Hall. Oxygen powered the E-Nigeria Congress with Wi-Fi for everyone at the Congress for free. I'd like to take Fred on the statistics we have about internet users. I am an internet service provider, and Oxygen is bent on getting everybody on the internet. We want to build about 1,000 hotspots across Nigeria over the next 3 years, starting with 40.
Sorry, we want to focus on...
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So the question of 48 million users has a big question mark behind it. We have several submarine cables landing, and if you meet with any of their CEOs, they will tell you that capacity is not being taken up. So if I have 48 million users on the internet, I should not have issues with capacity take up at the cost. The problem we have is that those figures bandied about are not exactly true figures. We're very...
Okay, from your research,
from my
what's
research,
a more realistic figure?
I think a more realistic figure is that we have to look at subscription, not users. The number of subscribers we have in Nigeria is less than 1%.
Well, not everybody has to subscribe to use the internet.
Mobile.
Yes, but
Okay, people work in channels. There's
Exactly.
Wi-Fi here, so they don't individually
individually
have to
subscribe.
Exactly.
But however you look at it, those also are subscribers. They're subscribing to some internet connection here at channels. You know the number of people that you have online. Most of the figures we have, Facebook figures, Yahoo figures, Gmail figures, some have 3, 4, 5 accounts on Facebook, some have 3, 4, 5 accounts on Gmail. But like you rightly said, the opportunities are there. And at the Nigeria, the focus is how do we get local content online? He mentioned fear. I will buttress it by saying that it's a social problem. People see internet as a functional thing. I want to do my jam, I want to do my transaction. That's only when I need the internet. But instead of paying for internet access, I'd rather buy a bottle of Coke. Instead of paying for the internet, I'd rather go and watch Arsenal at a bar with friends. So,
wait, just a moment. You're comparing this now to a bottle of Coke. Internet access is not as cheap as 50 naira.
Exactly.
It's not that cheap. So you can't compare those at all. Exactly. I disagree with you.
Now, where I'm going is that because it is not that cheap, the government is now beginning to make things a lot more easy for providers like ourselves. There are a lot of things that are coming up in the next couple of months. You'll begin to see them, where providers can now offer low-cost, high-speed broadband for thousands and millions of Nigerians. Because we realized that in Kenya, as an example, when the Safaricom or the sea cables landed, the GDP of Kenya grew by almost 200% within a 6-month period. In South Africa, it was over 1,000% when the sea cables landed. Why has that not happened in Nigeria? Fortunately for us now, we have people in the NCC and NIDA and the Ministry of Communications, especially the Mrs. Mobola Johnson, the new minister, who are bent on making sure that let's get everybody online. They're talking about open access. They're talking about bringing several providers together. He's a software person, and I'll tell you one of his frustrations is that whatever software he designs, where's the broadband to carry that software? He's a digital trainer. His frustration is also, where's the broadband to get my training materials across? I can sit in my room and train thousands of people without they having to come to a particular location. So the government is really doing something about it. I know from the perspective of a provider that this is works that have been going on in the last 8 months, and by January, February, March, you begin to see an explosion of internet access across the country that is cheap. That is as cheap as a bottle of Coca-Cola, and that's where I'm going.
Okay, all right. You finally got to the bottle of Coca-Cola.
Yes.
Okay, Fred.
Yes.
Fred. We're going to have more internet access, and that will mean more cybercrime.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, tell us, what kind of cybercrimes are, should I say, available? What kind of cybercrime do people carry out?
Yes. All right, thanks. I basically say this very, very straight up. People should understand that the internet is as important as, for instance, your passport. The internet, we call it the online real estate. It's so important that you have to take care of it. So it means that your passwords, your credit cards, your credit information, your account information, these are all things you have to take care of.
Sacred.
I mean, you have to keep them very, very sacred. And so, for based on my experience as a trainer and as a consultant, I usually tell people something as simple as it starts with your password, because virtually every website will require that you enter your password. So I said, why do you like using very simple passwords? 1920 Fred or Fred 1980, with the date of birth. So this you don't understand that the people who are perpetrating cybercrime are very smart people. Unfortunately, they are extremely smart. So they will just pick up your Facebook, your Twitter, and maybe your Gmail, Yahoo. They can guess, make some very good guesses. And so it starts with the password. You have to use very secure passwords across the internet, and you have to ensure that you don't repeat the same password on two sites. So it has to be, each site should have a very unique password.
How do you remember all that?
Well, it should be alphanumeric. Now, before I answer that, your password should be alphanumeric. That means it should contain letters, numbers, and then symbols. So it makes it difficult. But you see, there are a lot of tools to do that. We're just talking about cloud computing, cloud technology, how it's growing. If you ask me, I use a free tool called LastPass, lastpass.com. It's a free tool. And LastPass, personally, I have over 1,000 accounts, and they are all alphanumeric passwords. So there is no way on earth I can remember
1,000 passwords.
They're all unique. But I manage it with LastPass.com. So I just remember one master password that I change frequently. And also, everybody who owns an account on the internet should at least try to change your account once in a month. Or
change your password.
Your password, sorry. Once in a month or once in 2 weeks. But minimum of once in a month will be fine. Because for instance, if a group of hackers hack into, say, Facebook, for instance, they can get access or hold for a line of password that they can use to enter those accounts. So if you don't do that regularly, you can fall victim